Hello and welcome back to Dial H for Heroclix. I'm your Sexy Ranch hand co-host, Kalder and Simeon. This is episode 280. Howdy, howdy, let's get rowdy. Dial H for Heroclix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day, including all the latest Heroclix singles and sealed products. Make sure to check them out at CoolStuffInc.com. Joining me today in the studio is, of course, my good co-host, Simeon. What's going on?
You know, I found this book bound in human skin, and I started reading it, and now these deadites won't leave me alone. Just keep
really?
knocking on my doors and stuff.
They're just like, doot, doot, doot. Klaatu, Barada, something like that. I'm pretty sure it's something like that. That's what you're supposed to say to get them back. But I can never remember the words.
It's probably for the best.
It's probably for
keep
the best.
It that way.
No, it's probably for the best. All right. Well, jeez. It is well into October. The spooky season is October 13th as the time of the recording of this. And I am just excited. I'm excited for Halloween. I love the season. Even if the weather is trying to tell me it's Christmas time right now, I'm still cool with it. We like to start every week with what made us happy. Simeon, what made you happy this week?
What made me happy this week was I got a surprise ticket to Blue October. I didn't even know they were in town. So I watched Blue October outside. It was like 30 degrees out, and, you know, it was cool. But I was like, it's Blue October. It's in October. I'm turning blue. Everything like combined into one. So that was really cool.
Coming together.
Yeah. And then
awesome.
I watched Evil Dead when I got home. And then I went to the Joker today.
Oh.
Joker movie.
We do, after all, live in a society. Rise up. You know what I'm saying? I haven't seen Joker. I don't know. I don't know.
You know, without giving away any spoilers or anything,
us your spoiler review right now. 2 minutes. Show.
I don't even think there are spoilers that I could give away that would like be like, oh no, what a twist. You know, like you see everything coming, I think, but don't go into it expecting a DC movie or even like a hero villain, any kind of thing like that. If you go into it expecting like a Falling Down or Taxi Driver kind of movie, it's like high drama, and I'd say it's almost even like a horror movie because it's real life, man. It's real life.
It's a little gory, maybe?
Yeah, it's definitely earns its R rating without any language. So if you've got like younger kids, definitely do not go there with them.
I did go to the movies this weekend.
Send them on their own.
And there was a mother who had her 2 young boys and was like, 3 tickets to the Joker, please. And I was like, I don't know what's in it. I assume it's just, it's R, it's rated R, all this whatever about it. And I'm just like, that can't be a good idea, lady.
No. And they wouldn't even find it enjoyable. It's like a lot of adult themes. And by adult themes, I mean like adult life kind of themes, you know, like struggling and with like mental health and poverty and stuff like that. So it's stuff that like younger kids wouldn't even understand.
Relate to, yeah. Huh.
You know, the weirdest part is, so I was at a theater that had assigned seating. You like pick your seat, and that's, you know.
Sure.
I like theaters that do that. The guy next to me kept laughing at parts that weren't like, the whole movie's it's not a comedy. It's, you know, it's an R-rated drama, and the guy just kept laughing, and I was just like, you know, like that's not supposed to be funny.
like someone just like dies and he's like, ha, nice.
Pretty much, and I was just like, can I get a new seat?
But
I don't like my seat, mate.
Life is a joke. I don't think you understand the Joker's mantra. That like he had said that before sometime. I know Comedian the Joker are very same, and I really like Comedian. He's just like everything's a freaking joke. So, but I assume Joker's gonna just be not fun. It doesn't look like a fun movie. It looks like a movie that's going to be like, look how dark and cool DC can be. This is not a fun superhero movie where you're like, yeah, heroes win. It's going to make you think and stuff. And I'm like, sounds lame, but okay, Todd Phillips. 2 first names looking idiot. All right. Anyway, what made me happy this week was not. I probably offended people. I really don't care. I'll probably see. I'm gonna see it anyways, and I'll probably enjoy it. To be honest with you guys.
Yeah, it's a good like dark mirror on society kind of movie.
I hate Dark Mirror so much. I really cannot get behind that show.
Black Mirror?
Black Mirror. Is that what it is? Dark Mirror, Black Mirror? You said Dark Mirror and you messed me up.
Yeah, I said Dark Mirror because I was specifically avoiding talking about the show.
Shady reflections. Anyways. What made me happy this week? Just to skip over everything to do with Simeon. I listened to a podcast called The Adventure Zone. It's a very common podcast. I think plenty of people should know about it. And the Adventure Zone had their latest episode was their Hootenanny. Even if you haven't watched any of them, this is a total spin-off, one-shot episode. They are a live-action, role-playing podcast. And I don't have the time to sit down and watch Critical Role, so I just listen to this podcast. Jeez. That Sourhead bang is not sitting with me right now. It's kind of fighting me. All right. But this is seriously the most I have ever laughed listening to a podcast in my entire life. The Adventure Zone Hootenanny. It's on iTunes, Podbean, whatever. Maximum Fund is their thing. This is me shilling for them because it is awesome. Here's a quick synopsis, and you'll find out why I like it pretty fast. They are in the year 2020, whatever, right? Somewhere in the future. And they are a country band gonna play at the New Aubrey. So it's the Grand New Aubrey because it's in the future and it's funny. Anyways, and while they're doing this, they're on the stage in the Grand Ole Opry, which is also funny. It's great, guy. Anyways, and they're basically a space country band from Earth, and they go off to space to play there, and it's supposed to be what makes people big names. And, the characters are great. One dude is someone from Dune, who I don't know. But, probably my all-time favorite character ever made is Pepsi Liberty, who is just awesome. He's just hilarious. So, check out...
There's probably someone out there named that.
Dude, I might name my son Pepsi Liberty. If I ever get married and have a kid, it's it's Pepsi Liberty Ness. Don't argue with me, wife.
I mean... In 10 or 15 years, that might be a Pepsi product, like the Pepsi Liberty Ness.
But it's, dude, it is great. So that plus Team Fortress 2 Scream Fortress update came out. I love TF2 Halloween. I haven't been able to play Team Fortress 2 in what felt like forever because it just feels like nowadays I have to make time to play video games. And I just said, this weekend, I'm going to put whatever cosplay, anything I need to do is just done, and I'm going to sit at my computer and just play video games, and it is awesome. My bad thing is, I haven't played in so long, I don't have any friends. So that's play a sad song of the world's smallest violin. But seriously, Team Fortress 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. I could play it just for years. I've already been playing it for 7 years, and I love Halloween. The maps are funny. The extra interactive stuff they do is so great. Everybody is so much more easy to talk to during Halloween. There's more people on the mic. They're like, we got to kill this giant floating eyeball that shoots missiles because it's TF2 and it's awesome. So I love Halloween, and it's just so great. It's just another reminder about how awesome Halloween is. So that is what made us happy. That kind of went a little long. Don't worry about it, guys. And now we're going to go ahead and kick into the news. WizKids went ahead and tweeted out / posted on their Facebook a picture with the caption, "Coming to a tabletop near you." And it's a picture that says, "He Hungers 2020." And it's this really, really creepy, sort of lifelike, action figure something version of Galactus. And I, by the way, am not a fan of this costume with the arc reactor in the forehead. But anyways... And in the corner, it's I don't know if I should get excited yet, but it says specifically in the corner, WizKids Heroclix Marvel Combat Dial System, which basically confirms, they didn't use the word Heroclix in it, and it was just on WizKids, but I mean, it's got the whole Heroclix thing in the corner, which means we're going to be getting Galactus next year. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, the first thing I thought when I saw it was first I didn't actually believe it was for Heroclix. I was like, cool, Dice Masters gets Galactus. Great. I'm glad for Dice Masters. But then, yeah, it was pointed out to me that it explicitly says Heroclix and Combat Dial. So I was excited after that. And then my first thought was that I really want it to be like a 3x6 base. I really want it to be like an OG Galactus. I don't really want it to be a resculpt, but I definitely want it to be bigger than the normal 2x2s. And I'm just 100% sure that it's going to be a 2x2.
That would suck. I wouldn't mind it being on like a vehicle base or something. That's like a 2x4, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the like invisible
his legs
plane
be a little
style
close
is.
together, I suppose, but they could still make him pretty tall like that. The only bad thing about a 3x6 is to basically like sentence him to death on some maps, not being able to be placed in the starting area. You know, that's my only problem with Galactus.
Yeah.
Is well, not with Galactus, but with those 3x6 bases. It's like, I won map. So, what was it? The skull ship. You die. You can't be placed, and you lose. And it's like, oh, well, that sucks. But I'm really excited for Galactus. I never got to play with, against, or otherwise on these old Galactuses, and now, like they're old. Like they still stand up pretty well. Like they're still awesome, and their stats are still outrageous. But I just feel like there's so much stuff nowadays that can just totally counter. Like we need a Galactus that can just totally destroy everything. So I really hope this is just a really awesome Galactus. I hope he's very thematic. I hope this is not just like the Fantastic Four. If it's going to be a full set, it's just going to have super boosters. But if they do, here's how they should do it. All right, this is what I've been kind of cooking in my mind. Fantastic Four set, super boosters. They bring back Build-A-Clix from Nick Fury, and in one of the boosters, not instead of your Colossal, but you get like a regular base Colossal. You'll also get like Galactus arm, torso, and then one of them will just be the really like a bigger base that'll almost take up the whole thing. You know, like maybe like probably a 2x4 would be like the biggest you'd probably do. Right? Would that not be? I don't know how anybody thought about Build-A-Clix. I thought it was awesome. I thought that was like a really cool thing.
I really liked the idea. But also like with the Hulkbuster Mark II, I think it was, like each piece did something. So if you didn't like pull the entire thing, you still had, like the torso gave you like invuln or whatever.
Oh, right.
So each piece did something. So I don't know if they'd be able to swing that with Galactus, but yeah.
Disembodied Galactus head probably.
I thought you were going to say, hope they bring back team bases.
Oh, no, not at all.
Because Fantastic Four, one of like the Marvel's first family that should have a team base, never got one.
They should absolutely bring back team bases, if only to just make the Fantastic Four into a team base. I would actually be okay with losing to a Fantastic Four team base, because that would make sense and it'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't like a Switch Clix kind of team base, if it was just all of them on a like base.
Oh yeah, just glued to it.
Like posing.
Totally
and
new
rules.
No.
It gave you like energy shield barrier from Sue, super strength charge from Ben, plasticity shape change from
running
Reed,
shot,
and
explosion.
Yeah,
poison
from Johnny.
Whatever. Yeah. Cool.
Stuff like that. That'd be cool.
I could dig it. So that is Galactus, and I'm excited. And I can't wait to see what else was happening in the news there, Simeon.
Next up, we had a bunch of WWE stuff on the WizKids, their HeroClix expansion series webpage. So we got a lot of images that have already been spoiled, but we've got some actual dials instead of just the digital renderings. Eddie Guerrero, for one, looks way better as an actual sculpt than the digital rendering did. So you've got front and back packaging of, I think, all of them for the most part. I haven't gone completely through, but you've got AJ, Andre, Asuka, Big Show, Eddie, Finn Balor, John Cena, Kane, Macho Man, Ric Flair, Roman Reigns. I mean, you know the list.
Yeah.
And then we also got some images from just the backs of the cards for the Rock and Sock Connection starter. It was the figures and the backs of the cards. So we can see the dials, we just don't know what their traits or what their special powers do.
Okay. I'm just like kind of looking at the back of these dials. They all seem fairly standard. We don't know what any of their specials do or what any of their traits do, obviously. But I think that Triple H is the only person with just straight up printed leadership, I want to say, in WWE that I've seen so far. Maybe I missed someone or whatever, but yeah,
no, I think cool. I think you might be right there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's definitely like a few outlier powers that you don't really see. And I really wish, like, it's cool that they gave us The Rock and they gave us Mankind. We hadn't seen Mankind's actual sculpt yet.
Yeah.
But I really wish they had just, slid that HBK over a little bit, because the digital rendering of HBK looks so cool, and I just want to see the actual sculpt.
I want to see it so bad. Looking at the in-packaging, John Cena, it looks like he only has 2 specials, which is his signature, and I don't know, I can't see if it's, I can't see what it's going to be. And then he also has a special defense, like Never Give Up, which is his like combat reflexes, toughness, and something else. His attitude adjustment is just Slam. Looks like it's going to be on the dial, but I'm not seeing any form, unless it's his signature, the 5-knuckle shuffle, the whole can't see me thing. I'm not seeing anything like that. No, okay, there is a can't see me. It's the outwit. Never mind. I see it now. It's see me, and then there's outwit. You can make that out. So, no stealth on John Cena. Huge bummer, since, like, who just had stealth? Who was I just looking at who had stealth? Oh, no, that's the new black power. I was looking at Ric Flair, but that's a circle power. Never mind. Yeah, no, but John Cena not having a real you can't see me, instead it's just like outwit, which is, I guess it's sort of outwitting someone. Not in the sense that we think of it, but maybe?
I suppose, yeah. Should have been like, can't be targeted from characters more than 1 square away.
That's exactly what it should have been. Exactly what it should have been. And they could have made that a special damage power or something, like just super easy like that. Since I think almost every trait is just big guy or their signature move. I can't remember if there's... I guess there are a few other different types of traits. Never mind. But still, that should have been a trait John Cena had. And I know it's not useful in the WWE set since they are all close attackers. So maybe it's like, you can't see me. He can use just shape change on a 4 through 6, because that's basically what it is. You can't see him, like, whatever. It should... people are just going to be really mad. And I'm frustrated that John Cena doesn't have a cool power like that anyways. I'm still going to, like, paint strip him, though, and see if he's, like, the translucent plastic underneath. He should be. I hope he...
Ghost of John Cena.
Yeah, Ghost of John Cena, and see if we can get that going. If not, cutting him off the base, sanding his dial down, and just, like, here's my hockey puck dial. It's clearly John Cena. You just can't see him. Ha, 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 ha. Funny original joke. And I think that's it, right? That's it for news.
That is it for WWE. If you do go onto the WizKids site, somebody, like, I think they hired, like, a professional photographer, because whoever took, like, pictures of the miniatures, not only are they, like, super in focus and super detailed, the lighting on a few of them, like, AJ Styles has, like, a blue background.
I was looking
Kane has, like, reddish... Yeah, that one is like so cool.
Like, wow, you really, really worked for that one.
Yeah. Awesome. Roman Reigns has like kind of like a reddish backlight. Sasha Banks has like a pink backlight, and then The Undertaker has like that same red glow. So
yeah.
But yeah, and then Triple H is if you look at the sculpt for Triple H, he's like spitting sideways, so that one's fun too. Oh, jeez.
I'm
not sure what that one's. It's like angled up and away.
Up and away. Hey, he doesn't want to maybe it's just all over himself, He's more cautious
maybe it's
about
just
that
a
nowadays.
weird angle.
But all right.
Can you smell what The Rock is cooking? I guess we know what The Rock was cooking.
I guess we do. If anybody knows what that's from, write in the show. I'll have a prize for you if you can guess. All right. Next up, this is the second week, or second podcast in the month, and every second podcast in the month, we like to have a Patreon ranking up ceremony. This is purely for their new title. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As a reminder, though, for the Dial H Patreon, we do giveaways each month, and I just made this today, but there's now a Patreon Discord that I will be getting invites, post that on Patreon and try to get as many people into that. We are going to have channels like a Community Tuesdays question channel for more like further discussion in there. We're also going to have a Bad Samaritan channel, which maybe in the future we'll have a couple of people just play a few fun games of Bad Samaritan, not on air, just to sort of test the whole Heroclix knowledge, you know? So if that interests you at all, for as low as $1 a month for giveaways, and of course if you go anything higher, we have our Destroy a Heroclix tier. We have tiers that give you like stickers, and I do finally have stickers made of our new logo. And there's always the option to get the classic logo or the Howdy Howdy Let's Get Rowdy. And yeah, and I'm also looking into potentially getting action tokens. They're super cheap, not super cheap, sorry, excuse me. I know what another good friend, Heroclix content creator of mine, uses to make his action tokens. They're very nice quality. I shouldn't say cheap. They're very nice quality, and you can get a lot of them for like about $1 a piece. And I think that's pretty awesome. So I think maybe the $10 or something reward will get like 3 or a couple of Dial H tokens each month. Something like that. I think that would be kind of cool. And if you think that's cool, go ahead and jump on and join the Patreon. Ranking up in October, we have Loyal Miller. He was a Vigilante, and now he is a protagonist. Congratulations. Same thing here, Vigilante to protagonist. We have Manbach O'Brien. And we got a superhero, ladies and gentlemen. Superhero Mike Templeton is now a super fan. So thank you so much to those guys who have donated, and thank you so much to all of our Patreons. It's thanks to you that we keep the show running each month and that we're able to pump out as much content as we do. So thank you guys so much. And moving on with that, we're going to roll into the community section.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
So Community Tuesdays, when we get the question on Tuesday, is normally a pretty awesome question. What was our question this week, Simeon?
This week, our question was, what's your favorite non-Clix tabletop or collectible game?
Do you have an answer to that one?
I've got a couple. So, like, Monopoly is probably my most vanilla, like, sold in stores everywhere kind of answer. I very rarely get to play it. Most people aren't willing to sit down for, like, 4 hours. Because the way Monopoly goes is you'll start with usually like 3+ people, 3 to like 6 or so, and about 20 to 30 minutes into the game, 3 people are gonna be like broke enough to be able to just like drop out. Like there's no way they're gonna recover from like their standing, and then it's just like a slow process of like weeding out like who's actually gonna like, you know, win. And so I very rarely get to play Monopoly, but that's one of my favorites. I really like Risk. I've been playing a lot of it online lately because, again, it's hard to find people that'll sit down and play it. And then there's a game called The Refuge, which also has paintable miniatures, but it's a zombie survival game, except you are not cooperating with your other survivors. So you can move zombies into their squares. You can steal cards from them. So it's kind of like I don't want to call it a deck building game because it's not, but you do need certain cards to win. So that's kind of a fun one. You have to like move across the board, and it only takes about 3 to like 8 minutes per game. So you can run through like 5 games in like an hour, and it's a lot of fun.
Okay, right on. I actually did like the sound of that. I like anything with zombies in it, and the idea of like not all of you being survivors, and you can kind of like push a zombie over to there. That's like a real cutthroat apocalypse, you know, like a Walking Dead, trip the guy and let the zombies eat him as you run away and stuff like that. That seems cool. That seems really cool. Spoilers for Walking Dead, like season 2 or 3. Shane like trips over some heftier man, and the zombies get him. So if you wanted to watch Walking Dead, Shane is a jerk. But I guess that's not a spoiler. Never mind. Anyways, John Berthel is a national treasure, though. For me, I really do. I like all kinds of board games. So when Dial H before us first asked a question like this, I was playing a lot. This is like years ago, like 2015, 2014. I was hanging around people that played a lot of war game miniatures, like style games. So like Flames of War, stuff like that. Those like really older guys that are real like military and like old war style like buffs, or like even veterans and stuff that like play the games like the tape measure and the laser pointers and the really weird like counter tokens. I played a lot of those because that's just like who was going to gaming conventions in South Dakota and around Iowa and stuff, like in like smaller ones obviously, but still big enough to like play with a couple of people. And I really enjoyed that. I really just enjoyed like tank trajectory and like the games you could play in like about 2 hours. And for bigger war games and stuff, it was just really fun. And I really enjoyed painting them and hanging out with them. Like that was just like a really cool thing. Like, there are some people who play war games that are just insufferable to be around because they will not let you paint them XYZ other color because it's inaccurate to the time. Some people take it way like super serious, which is cool because they want to be as accurate as possible, and I totally get that. But that's not me. I just wanted to roll dice and be like, Vietnam, fire. That was a terrible choice for a war, but I guess they're all wars are whatever. Anyways, nowadays I just play board games with my family if I'm not playing Heroclix. I really like code names. I went to Gen Con. I bought Trogdor, the Burninator, which is a super fun cooperative board game. I bought Terror Below, which is like Tremors. Tremors is one of my all-time favorite movie series / TV show series. I just freaking love Tremors. We also play What's the trains one? Ah, jeez. No, I can't. Ticket to Ride.
Okay.
Ticket to Ride. My mom freaking loves Ticket to Ride, and even for Mother's Day, we all got her Rails and Sails, which is like Ticket to Ride plus boats. And yeah, she freaking loves that game, so we play it all the time. And then another game that I do actually play at some Heroclix places is The Mind. A good buddy of mine in Sioux Falls bought it, and it was like a super cheap little $10 game. And it's just whenever we want to kill some time, we play The Mind. And I don't want to go into it because it's a little weird, but it's a super fun game where no one talks at all, and it's great. And so go ahead and give us the first answer over on Facebook.
All right. Superhero organist Robin Cave says, Legendary is very strong, even if sometimes the powers feel redundant. I love chaos in the old world. Everybody is a dark god trying to ruin the world in their own way. You're also all terrible jerks to each other, and anyone who dares play nice runs a severe risk of losing. Fury of Dracula is the most thematic game I've ever played. 1 Dracula player versus 4 vampire hunters. I will take on, of course. There's a ton of great games out there for any taste, and I could easily overwhelm you with options. Yeah, there really is there's a place in town here called Spielbound, and it's just like a little cafe, and it's basically like a library for board games and card games and stuff like that. And you go in, and I think it's usually a free will donation, except on weekends it's a $5 like charge. And you just go in and you can pull one off like the shelf and sit down and play it with your friends. So there's a ton of stuff, but I think Chaos in the Old World sounds really interesting.
Okay, right on. First one on the old Twitter here. Protagonist Loyal Miller says, I played Pokemon in the late 90s and Yu-Gi-Oh! But now all I play as tabletop is Heroclix. He also plays, he said like Enstra. I'm sorry, I don't know. I know poker. And then he says he also plays some Catan and Munchkin, but just family fun games.
Nice. I've played Munchkin before too.
Munchkin is super fun. It's awesome.
It is. And you can it can get pretty ridiculous pretty fast.
Oh yeah.
Vigilante Jeff Polier says, I'll always have a fondness for Overpower. It was a great game, and I met one of my great loves while playing it. A game I'm always willing to play is Flux, any version of it. I've heard of Flux, but I've never tried it.
I see, like, they have, like, a Batman animated series Flux. They have a bunch of different versions of Flux. So I get what he's saying about the different versions and stuff. We have Vigilante Collectible Star Wars CCG, a great but complex CCG game that was discontinued in 2001, but is still popular today. Amazingly enough, you can still find sealed product, but it slowly gets more and more expensive. when we went to Gen Con, a guy that plays here locally who went with us to Gen Con was in a Star Wars CCG tournament there, and there was like actually quite a few players for a game that's 18 years old. I thought that was really cool. I really dig that.
Yeah, I can't believe that a game could die and then people would still play it, like maybe Heroclix.
Like what?
like Heroclix did. Superhero Benjamin Umansky says, have you ever done a D&D encounter? The game I like is a lot like that. Pretty much your characters have stats and you have to roll dice for them to fight. And if you like D&D encounters, you will love this. It's called Heroclix. So I don't know if he's making fun of me.
Jeez.
But I feel like he's making fun of me. No. I get it. That's how that's literally my go-to explanation for how the game works every time. A lot of people liken it to chess, but my go-to is like, have you ever had a D&D encounter? Every single time.
So, like, when you say D&D encounter, you just mean, like, you're playing D&D and then all of a sudden you have to fight? Is that what you mean? Like, roll initiative, let's go. All right, because, like, when you say encounter, I'm like, is that a different version of D&D? Sorry if I sound stupid. I just really don't know that much about it.
It depends on how you play D&D, because there's people who play solely for the role-playing, and I've been in groups where we do campaigns without ever running encounters and without ever doing battles.
Oh, wow.
So it's all about, world building and like diplomacy, and like maybe you break into something but you run away because your character's not like a strong person, they're just a sneaky person. And so there's like a lot of stuff like that. But an actual like D&D encounter would be like an old lady tells you that her granddaughter is lost in the woods and like she's been missing for days, and like you go in there and then your DM just kind of side eyes you and like roll a perception check or whatever, and then that you're about to get attacked by something.
By a wolf, maybe?
Oh, maybe.
See what I did there?
Anybody a little Red Riding Wolf.
Yeah, there it is. You got it.
Every D&D encounter I ever made was based on like Disney movies.
Nice. Your character has ice powers, but they're shunned from the kingdom. What do you do? What do you do?
I stopped being a DM before that movie came out. Otherwise, I would have.
Let's do this. You're the only female warrior in your family, so you have to fight. What do you do? I roll whatever disguise check, and I fool everyone.
Says, "Let it go, let it go." I could do it.
Your stepmother's really mean and makes you wash the floor. I don't know how you could turn that into a D&D. Anyways. On Twitter, Citizen Jedi Legend said, there are other games? Probably Space Crusade. And this is dang I'm old. And I'm like, yeah, you are, because I don't know what Space Crusade is. Sounds cool, though.
Yeah. Matthew Armar says, DC deck building game. Loads of fun and very customizable, depending on what sets you have. The Teen Titans core and the expansion are some of my group's favorite sets to play. Also, if you're a villain fan, the Forever Evil core set is pretty good too.
I might have to check that one out. Anything that makes my man Sexy Lexi real powerful. That's what I'm down for.
I've seen the deck building game like in stores. I just never pick it up because if I'm going to spend money on DC games, it's going to be Heroclix.
But you never get the opportunity to spend money on DC Heroclix.
Oh, once a year.
You will next year. You should
like
probably drop a lot of money. Ronnie. Good old Kirby Ronnie. I believe it's, Vigilante Kirby Ronnie says, got to go with X-Wing.
X-Wing,
yep.
That's yeah.
Not a listed property. It's like Star Trek Attack Wing. I think they're very similar.
Star Wars. I actually have a few X-Wing models. They do a good job on the sculpts. Chris Rizzi says, before moving to Australia, my playing group was into Gloomhaven. It was always fun trying to find groups to play both Marvel Legendary and Marvel versus, both great games.
Protagonist Ben Jones on the old Twitter said, before Heroclix, my go-to game I enjoyed playing was Star Trek CCG. Interesting, we had a Star Wars CCG, now we got a Star Trek one. And I still dig it out on occasions. The other one I liked was Overpower. It was a good game, but it's been a long time since I played. If not playing Clix, it's games to family. Ticket to Ride, Catan, etc. I love those games, man.
Matthew DePaz says, wow, this made me realize that Clix is the only game I play anymore. For years, I came up on TCG, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess video games are cool, but really Heroclix is the shiznit.
Right on. Superhero Demon Hunter said Coup for certain. Teppen would be my favorite collectible game, though.
All right, and Tyler Murin says, so even though I haven't had the time to play a console game in a while, my top 5 are definitely Pokemon for handheld device, WCW, NWO, or WrestleMania 2000 for N64, which I have all 3 of those, and they're not as good as No Mercy.
Weird
but
flex,
they're good.
But okay.
They're not as good as No Mercy. No Mercy is somehow they made a game from the future in like 1998 for the N64 because it is so ahead of its time that even today's WWE games don't keep up with it sometimes.
As we all know, the best WWE game is Backstage Brawl. Don't at me.
I don't even. You can't be serious. Anyhow, number 3, Destiny 1 or 2. Number 2, Batman Arkham Series, Spider-Man PS4. And number 1, X-Men Arcade, Avengers Arcade, and TMNT Arcade. He says, the reason I put each multiples in each slot is because they are basically the same games skinned differently. At least that's how I feel when I play them.
All right, right on. Bryce Bangeter said Imperial Assault is great, and the skirmish mode isn't far off from Heroclix.
All right, and Citizen Peter Marshfield says, I grew up on a lot of collectible card games from Pokemon to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. However, I've taken a liking to most living card games like Doomtown Reloaded and Warhammer 40k Conquest.
The Big Stabowski said, I always been a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! Risk and X-Wing. Really like the new Star Wars Legion game, too.
All right. Edward K. says, Pathfinder or D&D?
Porcupine Spaceship Grenade said Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Ooh.
You get so much more interesting names on Twitter than I get.
Oh yeah, because everybody makes their Twitter handle something like weird. Instead of Facebook, they're using like their normal like accounts that they have like their friends and family and stuff on, you know?
Yeah, like a person name instead of
a person name.
3 nouns put together.
I'm sorry, my real name
sense.
is actually Little Plastic Superheroes. All right, it's Mr. Superheroes to you.
All right, Jason Snyder says Twilight Imperium.
Right on. We Sexy Ranch and 2.0. Chance McCall said there's a Lord of the Rings tabletop game called Combat Hex that was similar to Clix that died, but it was sweet. D&D is also a great creative game if you have the right group. That is so true. It definitely is about the right mix of people for sure.
Yeah, if you have, sometimes you'll get like a D&D group that is like a lot of Skyrim fans, which nothing wrong with Skyrim. It's a great like world exploring kind of game. But when you're like paladins, like I'm gonna loot this dead body, and you're like, hey, aren't you lawful good? Like you probably shouldn't be sifting through corpses,
and he's
Mr.
Like,
Paladin.
Yeah, but if no one sees me do it, it's fine.
He's like,
it's like
also I want to be a dragonborn. So like, all right, Mr. Lawful Good Paladin Dragonborn who can breathe fire, and you look like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed man for some reason. Okay. Greg Miller says Race for the Galaxy.
Little Plastic Superheroes.
It got a little too real for me.
I was like, he's really reeling back from the D&D, like it's hitting him pretty hard. Little Plastic Superheroes says Hero Quest was the poop emoji back in the day, which probably means it was the shiz.
All right, and I don't know if I can read this next one on here. Corey Franklin says Magic.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm sorry, we're gonna have to ban you from anything ever.
All right, I'm gonna mark that next to his name.
Yeah, make sure he's banned from everything. Jeez. Citizen Chris Kurtz says Hearthstone. I love playing games in my underwear. Jeez.
All right, that reminds Gwent. I used to play a lot of Gwent when it was in the beta, and that's like a deck building game from the Witcher universe, and it was great. and then they decided to rearrange what a lot of the cards did. So all of my like decks that I had built and spent like time like, you know, figuring out how to like best do certain things. One day I logged in and none of them worked the same. So like I'd play a card expecting it to work one way, and then I'd end my turn and the card would like burn, and I'd be like, wait, what? No, that's not what? No, like that's supposed to carry over, and different stuff like that. Tim Sear says, Betrayal at the House on the Hill. Spooky.
Is that the one where you build more rooms as you go? There's like something like that. It's like a House on the Hill style game. That was really fun. I played that once.
I don't know. That sounds interesting though.
No, the rest is all you, man. I'm out. Sorry, I forgot to say I was totally out. I'm gone.
Oh man. Okay.
We are rock bottom, if you will.
Chase Sly. Oh, not the People's Elbow, the rock bottom. Is that?
Yeah,
what you
the rock bottom. Just
the true finisher.
I don't know
the
why
rock.
it would be the People's Elbow. That doesn't even sound right.
Jay Sly says, I like these a lot. And then he had an image of Monopoly Deal, which I think is like a card-based Monopoly game, and Catan. So I've actually played very little Catan. I know how to play. It's just, I don't know. I just never was like a huge fan.
It's pretty boring.
Yeah.
After you play it a couple of times, you're just like, eh.
I mean, there's certain strategies that really work well, and right off the bat, when you get like your hand, you can tell if you're going to be able to like do anything with it. And there's usually in the groups that I would play with, there was always like one person that was just really competitive and ruined it every single time.
That is so lame. For a game where you want brick, wood, sheep, and rocks. Sorry, it's like, really? This is what we're doing? Okay.
It's like, no, you only get one sheep for your 3 wood, because I have all the sheep. I was like, all right, that's fine.
Dude.
Thanks. All right, let's go. I don't even want your sheep. Christopher E. Cottrell says, Smash Up. Not Smash City. Chris Cooper says, Arkham Horror. I don't know if that's related to DC or not, but probably not.
Sounds like a game that would just take forever to set up.
You think so?
Yeah, Arkham Horror. Just sounds like it would take a good couple hours to even get going.
Just from name alone.
From name alone. I've never played it or seen it played. You have to
read like 5 chapters of ancient lore to understand. Yeah. All right, and that's all we've got on Facebook.
Okay, right on. If you like the Community Tuesdays question, make sure to check in every Tuesday on the Facebook or the Twitter, and you can go ahead and answer it, especially if you want to have your answer read on the podcast. Next up in Community, we have questions from our favorite Japanese listener, Malcolm Rush.
That's in Japan!
Japan? No, I can't go to Japan.
So last night, he was hit with a typhoon, and said he had an earthquake too, which, let's talk about some scary stuff, since Halloween is around the corner and everybody is fine. Halloween questions, these are all going to be best, worst, favorite. There's also best, worst, favorite sculptures, but there's 11 questions. We're already going to do 30 figures each on just best, worst, favorite. And, best, worst, favorite, we'd have to do 60 figures each. We'd have to talk about an individual 120 figures, which is just way too many figures. So we're going to keep it to best, worst, favorite. And we'll shout out our favorite sculpts every once in a while. So, number 1 is best, worst, and favorite vampire dial. Simeon.
All right, I think the current best vampire is Rune, and just because of his versatility, also because power creep's a thing. So, as like the game progresses, the newest vampire is probably always going to be better than the older ones. But the ability to start him with a gauntlet makes him really flexible. His double chance at shape change is pretty good, and then the fact that he can heal 2 on if he hits a character with power cosmic or is 100 points or more. I've never gotten a vampire to top dial as often as Rune, and it's just like most of the time if I play a vampire, I have to build a team slightly around them, and Rune is just like a one-man. You start him with the Iron Man gauntlet, and you pick Hypersonic or you pick Flurry, and then he can charge Flurry, and all of a sudden he's top dial in one turn. Worst is the Vampire Baron from the Rest in Peace set, because he doesn't even have a vampire dial. He's got a switch dial. He doesn't heal at all. What kind of vampire is he? It's like... But the actual vampires from the Rest in Peace set actually are pretty decent dials for what they do. The Vampire Baron, I think he's like pretending or something. And then also under worst, I'm going to slide this in there. The Vampire Wolverine and Batman are so overcosted, and they don't have Indom. And it's like the Wolverine's not terrible, but the Batman, you have to KO a figure to heal. And unless you're playing against a Pog generator, he always just gets taken down before he gets a chance to heal. And then my all-time favorite vampires are Hellcow and the Fear Itself Dracula, both for the sculpt and playability. Fear Itself Dracula is probably the coolest looking vampire that WizKids has ever made. If I ever do like a Castlevania kind of like game and I need a sculpt, that's the one that I'll use, because he's got like the blood armor and this huge sword and really cool looking.
Nice. All right, so for my vampires, I went with best because I still have nightmares about this guy. Is Fear Itself Dracula, actually. He was probably not that great anymore for 220 points, but in Fear Itself Sealed, the 1 month I played, wow, he was gnarly. I mean, just like he was like a force to be reckoned with. That Dracula is really awesome and just has put himself at the best in my mind. Worse, I actually went with the vampire from the Rest in Peace set. I went with a normal vampire because I'm like, when is he ever gonna heal? To be honest, like he's gonna stealth, he's gonna get like shot. Like I don't really like him that much. And then my all-time favorite vampire is gonna go to Zombie Morbius. Yeah, baby. I really like Morbius as a character. I really liked his role in Marvel Zombies, and I really like that we got a Marvel Zombie version of Morbius, and I think it's really cool that he's a vampire zombie hybrid thing, you know? Like that's just so much fun.
Yeah.
I think it's dope.
That is cool.
Shout out to another favorite vampire of mine is the Vampire Baron, because I really like his dial, actually. I like that he switches to the mist form, the bat form, and the normal vampire form. Sue me.
There's no steel energy.
That's a dumb gimmick, and you know it is. He's got it on his vampire form. You know, he's got the 2 clicks later.
Okay. I'm also going to shout out Sauron, just because vampire dinosaur, so...
Oh, that's true. There was a version of him that was the vampire dinosaur. All right, next up, number 2 is best worst favorite werewolf dial. He also said, or any comic book character that can shapeshift into an animal, which is like, okay, I'm not going to choose Beast Boy, but thanks for making that an option. So yeah, best worst favorite werewolf or shapeshifting animal comic character.
All right. We really don't have a ton of werewolves to choose from, but I put the best, I think, is the Werewolf Alpha. He's got some crazy good powers that he can roll onto, depending on like what part of his dial he's on. Worst, I put the Experienced Animal Man from Origin, the Origin set. Not only is his power like he starts with Leap Climb, and I can't remember if it was like Incapacitate or something. Also, his sculpt, we've never gotten an Animal Man with like what I consider a cool sculpt. In the comics, he could like, I guess it was more recently when they did like they had the storyline with the red and green and the rot and stuff like that. Okay. He was kind of getting like weird on his like powers and his connection to the red, and his like face would sometimes like morph halfway into like a rhino. Mm-hmm. So I really want like a cool sculpt like that, but otherwise his arms are just like up in the air and he's just like slightly crouched in almost every single one of his sculpts.
Yeah, and then not wrong, but I really like the WizKids one with the LE where it's got the bear behind him. Like that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the essence,
like the transparent
kind of thing.
Essence thing. Yeah,
that's the best one that we've gotten, and even then it's only cool because that effect is there.
That's true.
Without that effect, it's just a man slightly.
Without that, it's super. Yeah, slightly crouched his arms up. Yeah.
And then my favorite, the werewolf or Werewolf by Night from the Amazing Spider-Man set. I still have a box full of these. So like the sculpt's just really cool, and they're super cheap, so you can pack a ton on your force. And then they've got that I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Blood Moon or something. They've got a trait where you roll for them at the beginning of it, and they get different stat bump or like blades depending on what you roll.
Right on. For my best worst favorite werewolf is probably my favorite Halloween style character. I really like werewolves. I really dug them. Thought they were kind of cool. You know, shifting to a wolf thing. Very specific, weird weaknesses like silver or a silver handled stick even. You know, like they're just funny. Best, I went with the werewolf alpha like you did. I think he's just really solid. Worst, I went with Infinity Challenge Wolf's Bane, because you have to push her to a no move and attack blades click on each version. And whether or not you think she's a werewolf, she's a person that turns into a wolf thing. Don't care if she's a mutant. Don't at me. And then obviously my favorite werewolf is Capwolf. I mean, you should have seen that miles away.
I was actually going to say that was
looks awesome.
I was going to say that was the worst, just to hear you.
I would have been so mad. Sorry, I need a new co-host. It wasn't working out, Simeon.
What?
Sorry about that, bro. Next up is going to be best, worst, favorite witch, wizard, or magic user. Ooh.
All right. So another thing that might make you snap. I put best as Faust. Just because, I mean, on paper, if you were going to rank like point by point what the best figure was, Faust.
Stop.
Faust has got to be the best. Just for his points, for what he does, you know, he forces you to win the game automatically unless you're playing against another Faust. I put the worst, as the Witch from World's Finest. Both the most boring sculpt and probably like the worst use of 20 points unless you're building a mystical team. But like opening a pack of World's Finest and having, or like in sealed, having 2 of your figures be witches and then not enough mystical team to like make them useful was just like sad. And then let's see. I think, my favorite has got to be Mazaz from...
Oh, yeah.
What was that? Superman... Was that Trinity? Yeah, Trinity War.
That was Trinity War, yeah. The backwards Shazam, Lex Luthor.
Backwards Shazam.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't remember how many points he is, but he's really expensive. And
he's like
not usually worth it. Yeah, not usually worth it. But in some games, if you can get him the right support, you're like playing like 500 points, so he's not your only attacker, then you can send him out and maybe KO a weak figure. And then once he starts stacking powers, he just turns into a monster. Oh, yeah. And then shout out to Dr. Fate. Any Dr. Fate, always cool sculpts. And Bombshell Zatanna, also one of my favorite sculpts.
Right on. For me, best in my opinion, I like the Batman animated series Zatanna. I really think she's awesome. She's just one of my all-time favorite support figures ever. Boom, double enhancement with the bats. Like, that's so cool and thematic, even especially for Halloween. You got bats flying around. Perplex, TK, Prob. I think she's great. Even for 75 points, she got Mystic Seam ability. I think she's really fun. Worst, I went with Clea. I really do not like Clea at all. I really hated her while reading Earth X. I did not care for her at all. And her figure, I really don't like that much either. My favorite is a tie between Punisher of the Strange, because the best kind of magician is a guy who just uses it to make an SMG and just shoot people down. I also really like that he has worldwide monster healing shutoff. Like, it's awesome. Whenever... Like, you want to talk about the perfect zombie counter, if there ever was one, it's Punisher of the Strange, because he just shuts off zombies. If they have the monster keyword, they just can't heal. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty good there, pun. And another just shout out favorite is going to be Millennium Puzzle, Dark Battle of the Millennium, Dark Magician Girl. I really think she's really solid. I think she's the best Dark Magician Girl that's not overcosted like the other two, with just amazing opening stats, like a 6-range double bolt sidestep with 8 movement, 11 attack pen blast, 17 defense with ESD, and 3 damage with prob. if she is part of a mystical theme team, she can choose a combat value to be modified +1 for the entire game, except damage. Or if Dark Magician is on the force, she can choose her damage value. So she could be, an 18 defense with ESD, or she can be, a 12 attack. I think she's awesome. I really do think she's cool. And she has some other powers down dial. But for less than 100 points, I really like that Dark Magician girl. And I just had to put her on the list somewhere. Number 4, probably the weirdest category, and one that was a little difficult. Best, worst, and favorite Halloween animals. Yeah.
All right. Well, the best Halloween animal is man. He is truly the most dangerous of all the Halloween animals.
I don't want to justify that with a response, so I just, yeah.
All right.
Keep going. Just next.
My actual answer. So I don't know if this was Heroclix related or just animals in general. So I put best is dog because you can dress them up. You can give them an outfit. Worst is snakes because it's hard to dress snakes up. They're too thin and you have to zip tie things to them. And then favorite is rats because they're easier to dress up than snakes, and they're also pretty cute. I used to have a rat, and one year for Halloween, we dressed it up as a banana. We just had some yellow felt and made it look like a banana, so... favorite sculptures for those, I put Miss Lion for the dog, Princess Python for the snake, and Tribbles, because I don't think we've got an actual rat sculpt.
Yeah, he's called Splinter. All right, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Caught someone off guard there.
I forgot about Master Splinter.
Goodness gracious, golly gosh. I didn't... I'm sorry. I didn't expect you to take the question that way. Oh, wow. For me, best is Bessie the Hell Cow. Worst is any non-bovine animal. And then my favorite is Bessie the Hell Cow. You can tell we took this one the most serious in our answer.
Yeah, she's got a vampire cape.
Vampire cape, dude. Bessie's awesome. Bessie's my girl.
Clearly, a Halloween
the best
animal.
Are there any other Halloween animals? In the same sense that a vampire cow is? No, I don't think so. Number 5 is best, worst, and favorite ghost character dials. Ghost type of powers. Ooh.
Yeah, so I put Ghost Rider, Mammoth Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider. No. I actually put Jacob Marley is the best. His being able to phase through people and give them a -2 attack, and then I think he rolls to see if they take an action token. Yeah. Super good. The worst is the ghost from Halo, because it's not even a ghost, it's some sort of vehicle thing. So I don't know if the people at Halo know what ghosts are, but it looks kind of like a dune buggy. And then my favorite is Abraham Lincoln's ghost.
Nice. Goodness gracious. I said best was Ghost of Abraham Lincoln. I really do think he's probably the best ghost character we have made, especially at lower dial. Full dial, not so much. Worst has got to go with just Ghost from the RIP set. Just a loser. And favorite is Death. To keep with the Ghost theme, I really wanted them to all be Ghost Rider too, but I'm his name is Ghost Rider, but he's a demon. He's not a ghost. That was my only thing. I was I'm going to get all technical about, Halloween. But...
No, his bike's the ghost. He's just the rider.
Oh, my God. Okay. But I did have to shout out Ghost Rider. And no one in particular for sculpts, just because they're all good sculpts. Literally, maybe except for Amazing Spider-Man, where he's just on his bike and it's not doing anything cool and there's no cool chain action. Besides that one, I'm pretty sure every Ghost Rider sculpt is pretty darn cool. Even when he's not on his bike, he's got the little fire chain whipping around. It's pretty darn sweet. Ghost Rider is just awesome.
Yeah.
Number 6, best, worst, and favorite Frankenstein monsters. A man-made monster. So any kind of man-made monster, if you will.
Spoilers, the Joker. He's a man-made monster.
All right. Sure.
I put the best and my favorite are both Frankencastle. And then worst is, I don't know if this actually qualifies, so I don't read enough DC to know for sure, but I put Solomon Grundy from Hypertime.
Okay.
I don't know if he's man-made. I assume it's like some sort of curse or something, but...
See, he was born on a Monday.
Oh, yeah?
He might not be. He might have been born on a Sunday. I can't remember, honestly.
I was born on a Monday.
I know.
Died on a Wednesday.
We're just skipping Tuesday, because Tuesday he answered Dial H's community Heroclix question.
That's what killed him.
Yeah, they can't be too careful around them Dial H fellers. All right. My best, in my opinion, is the Trinity War Frankenstein. I think he's a beast. For once again, under 100 points. He has a super long die. He's got 8 clicks deep. I just think he's awesome. You know, he's got creature.
Oh yeah,
that's
the one with the big sword.
Big old sword. Yeah, no, I really enjoy that figure a lot. Worst, sadly, has to go to the only Frankenstein's monster. I mean, technically there's 2, but the only Marvel Frankenstein's monster. And just because we haven't gotten one in a while, he's got 2 clicks of 8 attack, 2 clicks of 9 attack, and he's slow, which is cool. I do like his choke power. I think that's really neat. But he's just not great, which is kind of the big bummer, you know. And then my favorite is kind of have another favorite here, but Frankencastle. Like, I mean, come on. Drill drone gun, like he's awesome. Frankencastle is just cool, and he's got a crazy long dial with, you know, mostly useful clicks in between, but he's just so much fun to play. Like, he's just cool.
Yeah.
He was a unique idea. He's got a big old pistol. Like, Frankencastle is just really dope.
A great storyline too. If you want to dip back into old Marvel that didn't make any sense, the Punisher run where he had the Angel arsenal, he like could just pull Angel guns out of thin air, and then the Frankencastle like run, I think it was like right around the same time, were both pretty fun.
I just imagine like every time he goes in some place, it's like hallelujah, hallelujah, boom, 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 you're dead, amen. Like, I think that's so funny. He's got the angel guns. It's just great. Number 7 is one of my favorite questions we have here. Best, worst, and favorite zombie dial. Ooh. Simeon, go.
Best zombie Abraham Lincoln, of course. The 4-score power is great, and it's just I don't know. I like having a dead president on my team. Worst, I put Zombie from RIP. They have bad attacks, bad defense. They're cheap, and they can, you know, they're somewhat, they're almost like autonomous, depending on how you use them. But they're just overall bad. That being said, I've ran like entire swarms of just those guys, so I know firsthand. I've played them enough times. And then my favorite is Zuvembi from Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. I think that was where it's from, at least.
Yeah, it is.
They're just like super cheap, and it was pretty easy to get their combat values up so that they could actually damage stuff. And then I think you could make more of them.
Yeah.
I think if you had to KO stuff. Yeah.
They brought in a new one. The best zombie, this is unarguable, is Zombie Super Scroll. Don't like, the dude is still way too good for his points, and he's starting to come up on power creep here, to be honest with you. The worst is the first Zombie Spider-Man. He is bad. The Chase Zombie Spider-Man is so much worse than the rare that came in Mutations of Monsters. It's not even funny. He has Energy Explosion as his only attack power with 0 range and 9 attack top dial. I mean, it's just like, why? And then my favorite, it's between these two. For a lot of like sentimental reasons, I really, really like the Zombie Red Skull. I got like that preview at a really kind of crappy time. that was going on, and I just was really happy when I saw that Zombie Red Skull preview. And then, of course, Colonel America. I also have a really amazing story now about how I got my Colonel America, and I'm really, really, really happy about that. And I really love the Marvel Zombies run. I seriously do. Ever since, Heroclix was a game that got me into the zombies because they were chases, and I always liked zombies anyways because that was the whole zombie craze. And I was like, well, I gotta read all these books. So I went out and I went to like Barnes and Nobles or whatever, and bought all the zombie omnibuses, bought the Army of Darkness one, and I just read it. And I just remember rereading those all the time, and I'm just like in awe of how much I really enjoyed like the zombie saga series. It was just really good. So yeah, Colonel America and Red Skull for sure, especially how good their flavor text is. Number 8 is best, worst, and favorite monster not man-made.
All right. Best, I put Wendigo. He's new. So I was trying to look back as best I could, but Wendigo sculpt alone, there's so much detail in their sculpt that he could easily be one of their like D&D sculptures. And then, of course, I think everyone at this point knows just how ridiculous his like vampire kind of dial is, and how kind of busted it is for like whatever point value you play him at. And then for worst, I put the Horta from Star Trek, the original series. I hate playing it. I've tried it a few times. It just doesn't work for me. I hate it. It's bad. And then my favorite is Krampus. I like Evil Santa.
Mixing a little Nightmare Before Christmas action going on here.
Well, and his sculpt is really fun. There's, some children in his backpack that he's taken away. So, who doesn't like that?
I don't know if you saw that movie like 3 or 4 years ago. I hated it so much. That was like a terrible movie. It was so bad. Yeah. Oh, it was bad. It was next level bad. Oh my gosh.
It was legitimately kind of scary up until the point where, like the Jack in the Box turned into like a weevil and tried to swallow a kid, and I was like, okay. It went from like kind of scary, sinister to just silly.
Where it went like elongated or whatever. I still didn't like that. That still kind of creeped me out, but I was like, this is definitely of all the things I'm gonna take issue with it's this. Like I like the gingerbread dudes and him like having to shotgun him. Like that was funny. That was like a little bit more like action for this horror movie. I like the whole everybody getting lost in the snow and the whole not seeing Krampus head on and everything. But some of that stuff I was just like, oh, that's what we're doing. Weird, but okay, sure, whatever. Krampus. Best non-man-made monster, Captain Venom. Don't argue with me. I mean, Wendigo is awesome and all, but having monsters on a theme team, Captain Venom just had to be on this list somewhere in any of these, and you could honestly put him as the best monster just because of how much better he makes other monsters. Being able to take monsters from all over that don't share keywords and make them a name theme team is just huge.
Yeah.
Worst, I went with Savembi. The only thing that saves them, I know, I feel bad about this, is the Indomitable and the shape change. Without that, they have really poor values. They have no movement attack, and they don't even ignore hindering, I don't think. Like, they are the pinnacle of a slow zombie. I know this was before Sidestep, but I wish they at least had, like, free move 1 square or something,
Yeah.
And then my favorite is
You just
Skeleton.
have to hit the opposing character a bunch, and then their combat values aren't terrible.
Right, but if you just have them on the team, it's going to take you a while to hit the opposing character a bunch. You
just got to ask them nicely.
9 attack, top dial. I don't know how well you're going to be hitting an opposing character. But favorite Skeleton. If you know anything about when I do trades and stuff, I always try to get skeletons. I love Army of Darkness. It is my all-time favorite movie ever. And I just love skeleton fodder. So skeletons for sure. Number 9. Best, worst, and favorite Halloween characters in Heroclix. This was a weird one because I'm like, Halloween characters? That's so oddly specific and yet not at all, So what'd you get?
Yeah, so I mean, I think like Calendar Man would make sense. Like the longest Halloween kind of stuff. But what I put was the dark metal chases. I just think they're like so, they're like their nightmare
versions of Batman, like literal nightmare creations of Batman. And then so I think those are the best, just because the way they look. Dial's not always like craziest, but the way they look is the best. Worst is Super Doom, like that Doom that dressed up like Superman. It's such a weird concept. Like, it's just Doomsday wearing Superman's outfit. It's super weird. I think he's like, that's the only one where they had a character dress up like another character. So, and then my favorite is Man Thing. I don't know if he really fits in with Halloween, but he's like a spooky swamp creature. So, you know, he's got the whole like those who fear him burn at Man Thing's touch, or whatever his. I don't remember how it goes.
I think it's just those who know fear burn at the Man Thing's touch.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the Halloween episode of Superhero Squad, the Man Thing is in it, and the announcer does that like 5 or 6 times in the episode. It's hilarious.
It's like when Psylocke would ever do anything in like a cartoon and be like, or in like comics even, and it'd be like, I will use my full psionic ability to make a psi blade. It's like, oh, that's what that purple thing is. Like, she had to explain it multiple times, so you weren't just like, why is she holding a lightsaber?
Yeah. I went with Earth X Spider-Man because he bought a Halloween costume of Spider-Man to wear.
Yeah, that's true.
That is my best I could figure out for that one. And I think both Earth X Spider-Mans are really good for their point cost. Worst, I'm going to give it to Belphegor. I think he's a really inflated point cost for 90 points. Overall, pretty lame. And favorites, I went with Jack-O-Lantern from Civil War.
Yeah, that is a cool one.
Yep. Flamin' Pumpkinhead guy. I mean, that's about as Halloween-y as it gets, I'd say.
Then there's Jester too, right?
There's also Jester, and I was thinking about him too, but he's just like a Renaissance fair dude with a yo-yo or whatever.
That's true.
Like, I really wanted to, but I was just like, I straight up think Jester just puts him in Renaissance fair medieval style more than Halloween, you know? And number 10. I actually forgot what this one is. I need to double check. Best worst favorite costume that is not in their original costumes. So when they dress as a different character, pretty much. Or when they have an updated look, sort of thing.
This was another one that I had a hard time with. I said best was Cyclops with Magneto's helmet.
Ooh.
Clearly not Magneto. Magneto doesn't shoot things out of his eyes. He doesn't. I don't know who he thinks he's fooling. But that's a pretty good figure. So worst is Magneto with the Cyclops helmet. They haven't made it yet, but I'm hoping it's going to come out in the Carnage set as a new character. I put worst as Savage Surfer, which is just like the Silver Surfer in barbarian armor, and he's got a bad dial.
Yeah.
He's like, I've played a lot of Silver Surfers, and most of them you can still play today and not like outright lose. But Silver Savage is not one of those. He's pretty bad. And then my favorites is the new Morph, because he looks like Wolverine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those are all pretty good picks. Best, I went with Earth X Captain America. It's Captain America not wearing his normal Captain America garb. Instead, he has the classic Old Glory draped across himself. I think that's pretty cool, especially since in Earth X they changed the American flag, so I really like that idea. Worst, I have to go with the Captain. Any version of him, because the Captain is actually a really cool, unique version of Captain America when he goes out and is a man without a country for the second time, because we like reusing storylines, I guess. And this is when they appoint John Walker to be the new Captain America. But every version of the Captain is him from a comic. And yeah, it's really cool. I love Captain America picking up Mjolnir, and I think it's awesome. But he had it for 2 pages, and we don't have a normal version of the Captain where he was just roaming around. We only have I went to help Thor, and I picked up the hammer. And I think that's really awesome, and I think it's really cool, but I think it really sucks that we don't have a normal version of that, in my opinion. As a big Captain America fan I am, and especially how much I like that series, we need one where it's just normal, and I really hope that the best set of 2020 is going to have that version in it. Also for worst, I had Rajaz. I really like 1602. I think it's an amazing, really cool concept, and I think it's great, but it's such a bad tile. Rajaz is just unplayable for his points. It's just terrible. Favorite, I went with Captain Iron America. Are you sensing a theme? Yeah. Captain Iron America. He's wearing a Iron Man or like Iron Patriot suit, I guess, really. And that's really cool. And then slash him is Bombastic Bagman. To have a non-Captain America thing, it's literally Spider-Man wearing Johnny Storm's suit with a paper bag over his head, which I think is just hilarious.
That is, yeah. I think I've got that sculpt on. That's like one of my few display ones. I say few display ones. There's a whole 3 shelves of displayed stuff, but yeah.
Right on. And then the very final one is a pretty easy one. It's what are you going to be for Halloween? Or what was your favorite Halloween costume that you wore in the past?
What I'm going to be this year is Shigaraki from My Hero Academia. He's one of the bad guys. So I've actually got like the stuff that I'm working on right now. If you've never watched the show, he's just like this weird lanky kid with all these like hands, these like disembodied hands attached to like his like random like arms and face and body. And so that's what I'm working on right now. And then at work, I work on billboards, so I get to climb up and change billboards. And they let us dress up for Halloween, so I'm going to dress up as Waldo. So while I'm up there, if anyone actually happens to see me, occasionally people like honk and wave, but I'll dress up as Waldo, and maybe someone will like spot me and think it's funny.
That is actually really cool. That's awesome.
I thought about doing like Batman or Spider-Man.
That's what I was about to say. Like, why not Spider-Man or Batman? Since Batman, the whole climbing things, and Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's because I have to wear this like big harness thing, and so half the outfit would be covered up, and I think Waldo is something that I can wear over my harness like easy enough. And
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right on. My go-to for Halloween is almost always Ash. So sadly, so few people even like recognize it anymore. But I have been Ash for Halloween for a while. Last year I was Infinity War Captain America without the beard because I didn't feel like doing that much work. And I just walked around just because I do a lot of cosplay. I normally just reuse anything I use for cosplay. And I think it was like 2013. I had like a really cool milk jug chainsaw I made out of it, like cardboard and stuff, and I was really proud. That was my first like Ash Williams cosplay. I was really proud of that. A year after that, I made my first Colonel Stars and Stripes. And like obviously also no one got that, but I also thought that was really cool because I made the Betsy Ross stick that he has, and it's another prop that I've remade today just because of how cool that prop is. I don't know if you've seen Kick-Ass or Kick-Arse 2 or not, but I think it's really, I just think it's dope. Like I just really like patriotic characters, so I really like the weapon that he uses. So that's for sure one of my favorite ones. But most likely I'm going to be Ash. I was originally going to be Steve from Stranger Things this year, but I just it's gonna be a little cold, so that's kind of the worst part about living a little up north and whatnot is that you don't just get to be Spider-Man. You got to be Spider-Man with a jacket, you know.
Yeah.
But those are all our questions from Malcolm. So Malcolm, thank you so much for sending those in. And double checking, we actually Jedi Legend didn't post. Just saying, we caught him slipping here. Hasn't posted a Heroclix tip of the week. So instead, we are going to do Sith Lord Ranch Hands Heroclix tip of the week.
You don't get it. You don't get a. Oh, you really? Okay, I'll give you a bumper.
You don't want to sell me death sticks.
I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
I want to go home and rethink my life.
This Heroclix tip of the week is going to be, is it Golden Age at your venue? Are you going to do just a no-holds-barred fun match? Well, here's the tip for you. Don't play Felix Faust. Do not play Felix Faust. Instead, play Copycat, because she is an amazing counter to a Felix Faust team, and you don't have to be the jerk that plays Felix Faust. And instead, if they're playing Felix Faust, you go ahead and take theirs and say, no, you're bad. And if it's anyone else, you can just take, like, their taxi or something, and it's a lot more fun to play against. That's what you should do. That's my tip of the week. Don't be a jerk, play Felix Faust. That was already an intro to the Calder's crazy soapbox. I don't know what we're going to do. Anyways, I'm going to rant about Felix Faust for a quick minute here. Last week, we did 300 points Golden Age, no holds barred, and we said everybody's just going to play the most broken thing in the world. I own 3 Felix Fausts. I want to destroy all 3. So guys, join that $5 Patreon tier. I want to make a really cool video, get it edited up of like different ways destroying Felix Faust. All I'm saying, if you want to see it, you're as salty as I am. I mean, there's a lot of salt here, guys. Let's do it. And they all borrowed Felix Faust, and I was like, yeah, I'm not going to play this jank. So I played like a copycat Super Scroll team. And it was probably the least fun I think anyone's ever had playing Heroclix. And what made it worse was the kid at the venue, he was like 14, 15, who said he really wanted to play as Felix Faust because he found it in his bin of Heroclix, that he actually owned one from however many years ago or whatever, whenever he got it, didn't even show up. Yeah, he was begging for everyone to play, let's do Felix Faust, really want to play Felix Faust. And we're like, okay. And then, like, you know, everybody at the venue is like, we're going to show these kids why we don't play unrestricted Golden Age, and we're going to really, you know, mess them up and whatnot. And all the guys were playing Felix Faust. I was playing Copycat. I couldn't bring myself to play Felix Faust, even though technically I played him as soon as I switched it over, but that's another story. And I mean, like, it's like, yeah, you're the jerk that just stole my Felix Faust instead, and now you're using him against me. Like, that's so much better. But yeah, that really, really bothered me that he didn't even show up. And it's like, well, now we didn't even teach anyone a lesson because everyone here didn't even want to play Felix Faust. And the guy that ended up winning had a total complete shutdown team with the whole Greedofidian, what was it, Omega Drive thing, where you can just instantly choose it every single turn and just like, yeah, you're just shut down. You just don't even play Heroclix. So don't be a jerk and play Felix Faust. No matter what it is, I don't care how cutthroat it is. If you're going to think about playing some kind of Felix Faust, or you think Felix Faust is going to be on the board, instead play Copycat. That way you can steal their Felix Faust, put it over on your side. Maybe if you get a start first, just kill it right away. Or if they find a way to switch it over, even then, like, I would still kill my own figure. I put that bad boy next to Titano, but not on his retail, and just like, yeah, I'm going to kill it myself, and I'm going to kill Titano doing it. I don't care. Felix Faust the worst. I'll take that Mystics. I ain't scared no Mystics. So that's Sith Lord Ranch Hand tip of the week. And that brings us to the close of our show, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to go ahead and tell you that you can find Dial H for HeroClix on Podbean, iTunes, a couple of different podcast platforms, and of course we upload each one to YouTube. Every Thursday I will be uploading an unboxing series to YouTube where I go ahead and unbox new sets, old sets, stuff that I just find lying around, and then every week we open up a booster supernova to go ahead and chase those zombies. I'm also keeping a running tab of each supernova figure we get. And I think out of the 48-something cases or whatever boosters of Supernova I have, we should be able to pull off a complete set besides chases. So that is going to be really fun. If you want to see any other kind of content on the YouTube channel besides unboxings like gameplay or even team building, go ahead and write in and let us know. I try to respond to most of the comments there. If you have questions for us, like Malcolm's, that you want to have read on the podcast and then subsequently answered, go ahead and send that into the Twitter or the Facebook. And of course, if you just want to do a more straightforward approach, go ahead and email us at dialhforheroclix@gmail.com. Anything else you want to add to the show, Simeon?
Nope. I was just going to say maybe you should do like a pizza unboxing where you just open a box of pizza and there's a pizza in there.
Cowabunga.
I'm sorry.
That's all I got. Yeah. I'm sorry, you're not giving me a lot of work with. Cowabunga. Wise man says, never pay full price for late pizza. Terrible Michelangelo. Yeah, I know, it was bad. It sounded bad. I'm aware of how bad that sounded.
That's alright. I mean, the turtles sounded bad when they first came out anyhow. So it's...
Alright, enough dilly-dally. Thank you guys so much for listening to Dial H for HeroClix. Simeon, you want to go ahead and read us out of here?
Yes, I do. Just as a reminder, Dial H for HeroClix is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock every day. including all the latest Heroclix singles and seed products. We've got WWE coming out. We've got Star Trek out. We've got X-Men that's been out for a couple of weeks. You've got all kinds of options. The Orville is somewhere in the mist. So check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Happy trails.